right, everybody. Welcome back to the Everyone Everywhere podcast. I'm Tim Sexton. I'm here with our lead pastor, Trey Brinson, and we have a really cool guest on today that you know pretty well.
Yes, I do.
Right? Kayla Brinson.
Kayla, the bride.
Hey, guys.
Yeah, bride, the
Glad
first
to be
lady.
here.
Yeah.
Hey, I think it'd be cool to let our folks in a little bit on your story together and maybe get to know Kayla a little more. So, man, tell us how you met.
Yeah, we just got off a trip actually with a pastor and his wife who have been married they've been married for a lot longer, but they've been at that church for 13 years. And one of the things that Kayla had brought up is how we were with their church people and they didn't know their story. So we just thought, why not take advantage of this opportunity to kind of get behind the scenes and let people get to know us and get to know Kayla a little bit better.
Yeah.
So
just tell us a little bit about your back, like before you met this goober, like what was...
As far as
lonely,
the church goes,
tough.
yeah.
Just your life in general, when you became a believer.
Okay, so a little bit about who I am. So I grew up in a church home. So church every Sunday night, Wednesday night, part of the youth, all the things. And I actually gave my life to Jesus when I was 9 years old. I know that's young, and it's kind of like,
Well, me too.
it's not weird, but it was legit, and I've even been challenged later on in my life to make sure that was when I gave my life to Jesus. Do you really want me to say?
Yeah.
Oh, Clay Cox, when we were in our marriage counseling, he had asked that, and I had to go back.
When you get saved at 9, you probably need to get challenged every now and then.
Yeah, for sure. And I completely agreed. And anyway, so just grew up in the church, was always at the church, but I would say that through high school, I probably didn't make the best choices. But I would also say that growing up in the church, and I would say, it's a Southern Baptist church, and I think one of the things that I would say about it, it was a lack of discipleship growing up, really taking someone under their wing and walking them through, I guess,
kind of a lost art for a while.
Well, one of the things that she would always say is she knew what not to do or what to do, just didn't know why to do it or not to do it.
And I'm one that will challenge, like, why don't we partake in this? Why don't we do this? Like, give me why. And there really wasn't ever anyone to say why. And maybe they did say why, I just wasn't really listening at that time in my life. But fast forward through high school, just still a part of the church. I'm telling you, heavily involved. Went on to college, and at 18 is actually when I went and visited my roommate from college, and she was going to a different church. And so just went and visited her there. And then that is where I met Trey, and he was the college pastor there. And so for me, I had seen a group of people for the first time in my life. Granted, I grew up in the church, but this was the first time in my life where I had seen believers say they are believers and act like believers.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in the church that I grew up, like, I love my home church. I love the people there and whatnot. But a part of the youth group, like, you would see people that would say, hey, I'm a believer, but their lifestyle just didn't match their words.
Oh, yeah. Now, I grew up in the exact same sort of environment, and we talk about this a lot when it comes to parenting. How do you hand the gospel to your kids? And this is a whole different rabbit trail, but just something for parents to think about. How do you do that? They've got to have rules because you want to keep them alive, But I grew up, people telling me that over there is bad, and I kept thinking,
why?
Yeah, why are y'all trying to keep me away from that? So,
and she's not casting a stone either.
Yeah.
She was one of them, you know.
Yeah.
So she's
absolutely. Me too.
So she had the same lifestyle, but
yeah.
Yep. Me too.
And so it was just like seeing that for the first time. And it was, for me in my walk with the Lord, it was the first time I was able to see, oh my gosh, like, these people love Jesus and then they act like it. And so I was like, this is what I've been missing. This is the piece of the puzzle that has been missing. And so I actually started to attend that church very consistently through college. And our friendship grew.
Into discipleship. I started discipling.
Yeah, sure. He discipled me.
Missionary dating. Yeah.
That's not what.
No, that's right. But yeah, so that's how we met. And honestly, just a little bit about our story, like seeing Trey and how much he loved the Lord. For myself coming into that, I never thought, oh, I'm going to marry that man. Like, it wasn't like he's mine, like I'm going after him. It was more of like, man, I really love to marry a guy that is like him, because I knew that he would love the Lord more than me and more than any of my mistakes that I had made, prior or even in the lifestyle I was in still. But yeah.
I remember her coming, but I don't remember as vividly as she does, because I keep telling her she was wearing a red dress, and she was like, I didn't own a red dress. So
I didn't know red was my color.
So
later in life, babe.
Apparently I don't remember as well.
Wrong girl.
Her roommate, her roommate was she had a boyfriend that was a longtime boyfriend. They're married now. I think they just celebrated an anniversary, in fact. But anyway, they were some of the more faithful, more consistent people in our class. And so when she had came, that was one of the great joys of being a single college pastor. It was a great mission field. It was also a great recruiting rate.
Girls. Yeah, they would go to a college that was just girls.
Oh, that's
him and a friend.
That's how we grew the ministry.
Yeah, that's how they.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Just girls.
I'm sure.
I kid, but yeah.
So how long did y'all date? So you started dating when?
So I had a lot of growing up to do. At 18 is when we met, and then
she was in a long.
Yeah, I was in a long relationship then. It was not a healthy relationship, and it was even one where Trey kind of saw himself in. I don't know if you want to speak to that, but do you?
I don't mind. Basically,
we're getting husband and wife signals.
Yeah,
I had met her. The relationship she was in reminded me of a relationship that I was in. I dated a girl from 7th grade all the way to my freshman year of college, so 7 or 8 years there.
Wow.
And there was some off and on in between there, but I felt stuck. I wanted my way out. The expectations of all of our friend group was we're supposed to be together. We're supposed to get married. We had all these things on us, the pressure of friends and all on us, and I just felt stuck. So it took a significant event in life for me to get unstuck, and I jumped on it like immediately when that happened. And but I saw her, and I was like, man, she's just stuck. Like this is all people have ever known. This is all she's ever known. And she just needs a way out. And, sometimes you drop to zero and you meet the hero.
For sure. Yeah, so.
You were
I went on
way
a mission
out
to get her unstuck.
Okay, gotcha.
No.
I don't think that was your plan, though, was it?
It was not. No, yeah. We actually became friends. And even through that, they were on and off again during that time, too. And then we didn't start dating until maybe 3 years after we became friends. And that relationship was long gone by that point. And I even think she needs to tell that, like, there's a significant moment in her life where when she was in that relationship where she went to Campus Crusade and the speaker spoke that night, and she just kind of felt released from it.
Yeah.
And then I think that plays a pivotal role. But she did come around, and it was good to have her around. It was good because we had a growing class. More and more people were coming and participating, but they were really hungry for the things of God. And one of the things that Kayla and I have always said is there's something about college students specifically where they're trying to discover who they're going to be for the rest of their lives. They're coming away from mom and dad, gaining some independence, starting to form and shape who they're going to be literally forever.
Mistakes. Yeah.
And man, it's just so pure and raw and real and vulnerable. And it's a real good time to intersect your life with them to help them navigate through that spiritually. And that's where she was. She was in a season of just searching. And I think she found not a group, she found Christ, and Christ provided her a community that she could grow with. And we started to watch her grow.
Yeah. And I would say too, like even with the Campus Crusade thing, that was an area of my life that I was just kind of holding on to. Like, I think most females desire to be married or have a relationship, and it's just kind of that picture we've painted in our head for forever. And Trey he did see that I was stuck in this relationship and I wanted out, but I didn't know how to get out. And so even that night at Campus Crusade, it was almost like just laying everything down at the Lord's feet and just like trusting him with everything. And that was like the last piece that I just needed to be like, Lord, it's yours. Like, I'll move to Africa at this point as a single female and be single the rest of my life. And that was probably when I was around 20, and I was just like, it's fine. Like, if singleness is my story, it is what it is. And so, and I feel like
that's why Clay challenged you too.
Yeah.
Was because what happened in that moment was so real that he was just trying to say, man, was that really the time you came to know Christ, or was it when you're 9?
Yeah.
But she just felt like, I really came to know him. I just had no discipleship. And there was just another level of surrender that came at the age of 20. So
yeah. And that's why I said, like, I had to wrestle with that. And, but there was always like, even before the age of 20, there was that conviction constantly. And I don't know how real we can be on this podcast, but, like, there would be nights where I would go out and then I was at church Sunday, and I know that's just
I did
whatever, you know, but like, I wanted to be there. And then there was also still that conviction of like, why am I out? You know, like, why am I doing the things I'm doing? So it's just always there, even before that moment of just like laying down a relationship that just needed to be surrendered.
Yeah, let's shift gears and get to the good stuff.
Yeah, let's do.
So dating was fun.
You is what you're trying to get to you.
no, not me.
Yeah, that's really.
But yeah, dating was fun. We had a lot of adversity in our relationship as we were dating, and I'll let you share a little bit of that. But the beauty of what God does through his power is remarkable. So I think it's worth us just talking about.
Tell us about this adversity.
Okay, how far you want me to go here? So we did end up dating, and we probably would say that we dated too soon, because for Trey, he was a college pastor. I'm a 18-year-old, or by this time 20-year-old college student, still like growing in my faith. And I was growing quickly. And so a lot of changes were happening, like how I was dressing, who I was hanging out with. Like, I was moving away from friends that I had been friends with for however many years, since 6th grade. And so there's just a lot of change. And so there was adversity from my parents and from others, just like, you guys should not be dating, blah, blah, blah.
Well, the change was attributed to me, rather than to the Lord.
Yeah.
So people felt like, man, the only common thing that has caused this change, the new thing, is him. So I was taking
necessarily believe it.
Oh yeah,
They're like, what?
He way too much credit, honestly.
Yeah.
And but at the same time, there were significant changes happening in her life, and you have to understand where we were then too. She came out of a long relationship, and kind of the hinge on the door of that relationship was her lake house, and they were next door neighbors essentially. And every time the summer months come, they'd break up, get back together, break up, get back together, and it was this on again, off again thing. And sometimes we've learned as parents, and we are parents now, but we live. We're a bit naive sometimes. We're unaware of what's actually happening. I would probably say we don't want to know what's actually happening. And that, I think there was a little bit of that. But there were pressures on our relationship from every angle, which applied pressure amongst us. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of tension, a lot of fighting. And typically I would probably say a relationship that if I were on the outside looking in, I would encourage someone to get out of.
Yeah.
And but there was just something there that kept driving us together. And I would even say probably making us stronger rather than weaker. And ultimately it led to a place where the job in Valdosta State opened up, and I was going to move away. And that kind of put she and I at a state where, are we serious about this or not? But it was Christmas. Why don't you talk about Christmas, and then we can carry on from there.
Well, there's a lot to all of that, but we had been dating 6 months at this time, and again, a lot of adversity, heavily probably from my parents, and again, that just is attributed to my lifestyle change. Like, a lot changed quickly, and it was probably really hard to just grasp all of the change. But it was Christmas. Trey had come down from Georgia and we were going to exchange gifts or whatever. And I was telling my mom, I was like, hey, I'm going to go see Trey at the apartment. I had an apartment separate from our house because I was still in college. But anyways, we're going to exchange gifts. And she was like, no, don't do that. Have him come here. And I was like, heck no, not bringing him here. He does not want to be martyred. But anyways, I think the biggest thing is my parents didn't really know my story. And Trey, this whole time, like this whole 6 months of just hard, adversity, he was like, just tell him your story. Like, it will all make sense if you tell them your story. And I was like, I can't. Like,
that's hard.
They pay for everything. Like I just thought they would cut me off and I'd live in my car that I didn't even own. And I was like, I can't pay for college. I can't pay for this. All these things, all these fears. And he really was. He's like, just tell him your story. Just tell him your story. And then finally, it just got into that point at Christmas where I was like, you know what? I'm just going to tell my story. And so it was after Christmas, I guess, at that point. I guess January, we went.
That was right. It was December. We went to the movies. Your parents talked me into going to the movies.
Yeah.
So I went there and I said, I'm not going to sit by them.
It was just weird. Like, we're leaving a lot of pieces out, but.
Yeah. And we went to Red Robin in Briar Creek.
Yeah, we did. Red Robin's yummy. But anyways, I shared my story with them at Red Robin, and then Mom and Dad's faces were just like, what? Like, we didn't know any of this. And so for them, it finally all made sense as to why, I was doing certain things that I was doing, like leaving friendships and not wanting to go to the lake house anymore. And just really changing up who they had known me to be. Mm-hmm. And so from that point on, it was like full support. Like, it was insane.
It was definitely a game changer. I have said, and I think your parents will be okay with me saying this just because they're probably going to listen.
They're here at the church. But
yeah, they are.
Yeah.
I had never felt more hated than I did during that season, but also have never felt more loved in this backside of the season. So it's a true restoration story of what the Lord has done. They've been so supportive of us. But I did go to Valdosta State, took that job. And then I got a phone call one random day in January, February from your mom. And she was like, when are you going to marry my daughter? And I'm like, what do you mean? We've been waiting on you.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so that accelerated it. I took a flight literally out of Jacksonville that weekend and the ring was burning a hole in my pocket so bad that I proposed to her at auto auction.
Yeah, we need a redo.
Attaboy.
So we have a great proposal story that everybody should do. And
red, white, and blue, baby.
That's right. We got the gong.
It was so okay. It was interesting.
It was interesting. But
nice.
She grew up redneck, so it just kind of
it's just part of my story.
But seriously, marriage has been an absolute blast. And I will say that I was just telling Rebecca Duran, who's just got married, and her husband, I was like, everybody tells you the first or second year, and I was like, I don't think we really experienced that. Mm-mm. We jumped in ministry full throttle together at Valdosta State, but majority of our memories go back to that season. Like we loved our time there, and it was not the cookie cutter story. Mm-mm. Like we go. First year of marriage, we move into an old mildewy like frat house that people literally were peeing in the floor in. It smelled like urine when you walked through the door. We painted the walls, saw God work in ways we've never seen God work together. Mm-hmm. And it's just story after story after story. I mean, then we just met with Justin. He's on our podcast. And when we met with Justin, he's fruit of that season. Yeah. And so it was just a really, really sweet season. Had kids fast.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, wait, how long have y'all been married now?
Oh gosh. 2009 to what year are we in? 2025.
I know.
16
she
years.
doesn't know, which is
16 in August.
It's going to be 16 in August. Yeah.
Okay, 16 years.
Bro, give me a second.
We just celebrated 15 in August.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but we have 4 kids, and you can tell the story about how you wanted to make sure you had your
4
kids.
by 30.
4 by 30, and how close did you come?
River's due date was May 26th, and I would turn 30 May 27th. I think God's just funny like that. But he came May 22nd because I begged the nurses to take the baby.
So
3 girls and a boy.
3 girls and a boy.
3 girls and a boy, and they're the pride and joy of our heart.
Mm-hmm.
One's a spitting image of her. One's a spitting image of me. I don't know who the third one is yet, but River is all me. Like, he's all me.
No, he's not.
He's so sweet, and charming, and lovable.
I love River. Yeah, and honestly, like Rylan and Reagan really grew up in the heat of ministry too. Like they were on a college schedule because that's when we had them in Valdosta, and so late nights, late mornings, all the
shared a house, with students. And then we were basically given an apartment, and that's where Rylan grew up.
Yeah, but
it was not abnormal for them to be up at midnight listening to buzzers from basketball games go off because they were everywhere we were. And the beauty is they still love the church, which is good.
Doing good so far.
I saw a statistic the other day, Tim, and Kayla, you can talk a little bit about just kind of what it looks like to be a pastor's wife, because there's people out there that's a tense thing and that's a real thing. Sure. And I was reading an article the other day that I think it was Dallas Baptist University did. And it said that 80% of preachers' kids leave the church. Mm-hmm. And the reason they leave the church, the number one reason, is because of the way that their parents were treated by church people. And we've always said we want to be surrounded by people who love us and love our kids well. Mm-hmm. And we have been blessed to work alongside of Georgia Baptist Wellness with some pastors and their spouses. We've had opportunities to be with Dan Hoover and the Marriage Adventure and just hear some stories that go on there. It's a real thing. Like, people leave the ministry in the droves, and their families are hurt in the droves. And as a pastor's wife, like, give us a sneak peek into just how you keep yourself resilient, keep your head above the water. Like, what does it look like to pray and stay connected to God in those types of seasons? Because they do come and go. And just love for you to kind of
you guys are under a microscope. That's just all there is to it.
Glass house here. Well, I mean, I feel like I've already walked through several seasons in ministry. I mean, this could be a whole nother podcast, honestly, because there's so many pieces to unpack here. So I think because we've been a part of a church plant, and I feel like as a church planter's wife, I remember reading a book. I cannot remember who it's by, but it was when we were walking into that season. And I just remember her saying, like, she was trying to figure out, like, who am I supposed to be for this church and all these things. And the Lord just reminded her, hey, just love me, love your family, and then love people. Mm-hmm. And that has stuck with me from the very beginning of the church world. Because I don't necessarily have a calling to go lead, women's ministry or, to start Bible studies and do all these things.
You also can't be somebody that you're not. You don't want to fake anything. And
I don't like being fake. Like, this is a lot of realness here, but I struggle with being fake, actually. But it was just a good reminder that I don't have to be someone that I don't want to be or who I wasn't created to be. And I think that's just, every pastor's wife probably needs to take that mindset of loving the Lord first, loving your family second, and then loving just people really well. And knowing, like, people are going to hurt you. And I've walked through seasons of that, like where, members of our church have left for whatever reason. It could be the carpet's purple. It's just silly stuff a lot of times. And then, or if they disagree with, maybe what Trey has said, and then it's taken out on me as well. And I'm like, one, he didn't do anything. I haven't done anything. We're still the same people, that you knew before whatever situation happened. But I also think too, like, the Lord has just taught me in the past 5 years of even being at Eagles Landing is just like reminding me of there's always going to be an expectation box that we're always going to be put in. I don't think it matters if you're in the church, if you're in the corporate world, whatever world you're in, but it's just like, don't lose yourself in that.
No, and there's a very specific template for pastors' wives that you shouldn't. You can't fake it.
No, I can't. And it's like, and I actually did a post on this recently. It's just like, I'm never going to meet your expectations. Like, every single person is going to have a different expectation for me. And I physically cannot do that.
Yeah.
Because then I definitely wouldn't know who I was in that, because I'd just be a puppet at that point. And so it's just, I'm learning and I'm reminding myself daily, honestly, like, be who God created you to be. And it's okay if you're not the picture perfect, pastor's wife that everybody thinks that you should be. And I think we're kind of getting away from that, I guess, from the old Southern Baptist mentality of what a pastor's wife should be. But
so for you to be who you are, you love investing into the high school girls. So you're working with the seniors here.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that, a little bit about how that drives you, what you love about it.
So I love being with them because I can, honestly, the things that I struggled with through high school, no one took my hand and was like, hey, when you have a boyfriend, this is what you might struggle with. Or
God's not going to waste what you went through. Yeah.
Yes. And so he has used my story for his good. Yep. And I love that.
Well, he does.
And I'm just able to relate with them on a different level that maybe they can't necessarily talk to their parents about whatever situation, but they can come to me and I could say, this is what the outcome will be. How do I know that? Because I've probably done it. I've seen it happen and I know this isn't the best outcome. And so the Lord has just been really sweet in allowing my story to be used for good and just allowing that to be poured into the girls in high school. And I don't know, I love it. They give me life. They're encouraging. They love me so well. Yeah.
And let's be honest, they come with less drama.
I don't know. They're pretty dramatic, but okay. I can handle their drama because I'm
old. The older we get,
I don't care about the drama.
But I do love that about Kayla because I think what she's saying is true. Like they're in the Southern Baptist world specifically, if you're the wife of a pastor, you're almost expected to be like a women's minister. And
or children's.
Or children's. Like we see that a lot. Or you can sing.
I wish I could sing. I would be on stage.
And unfortunately, like that's not the mold, that all of us or all women are in.
No.
And I don't think that's even what God designed. One, I think some people need to wrestle with like, is pastor's wife even a calling? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't see it in scripture. I don't know.
No, it's not in scripture.
But
I could
choose it or don't choose it. Like you chose to be the wife of a guy who's called into ministry. And with that, you didn't catch God off guard. Mm-hmm. He wasn't surprised. And he's equipped you in every way to be exactly what you're supposed to be for the places that he's going to send you. And then I think that's the beauty of her story is here. We love college students.
Yeah.
But Eagles Landing's not in a college town.
Yeah, it's a different.
But she has found her niche, and that is to work along with senior girls, to love on them, encourage them. And let's be honest, like when they go off into college, they're now at some of the most important times of their lives.
Yeah.
And she still has a voice in their ear to continue to try to lead them and help them through those seasons. And that's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
You probably see some things that they're not telling you because of your story.
Yeah.
That's the way it works.
Yeah.
That's just the way it works.
So we're probably going to divide this into two segments.
Yeah.
But I want to end with this question, and I want you to think about how you answer it because I think this is a good opportunity just to be vulnerable and honest. Like when people ask me what is the key for people to understand the real Trey, I always tell them the same thing. Don't mistake my passion as frustration because I know that it sounds frustrating. And I know you probably think I'm angry. I know you probably think I'm upset or frustrated. That's not true. I'm just passionate about the gospel. I want it to go forth. I want it to reach people. And anything that hinders the progression of that, I get frustrated at. And you hear it out of me. What is the key to understanding the real Kayla? I think if you asked me that question, I would just simply say, man, I just really do. I said it. I love to see the gospel advance.
Yeah.
And when things hinder that, halt that, distract that, like I do get frustrated. I get frustrated because I want to see the gospel advance.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
I don't like spending wasteless, empty time, just wasting time on things that at the end of the day don't progress that. So I'm just trying to figure out.
Okay, so I can go from there. So I think just your question and trying to help people understand me, and we talked about this a minute ago about being real versus fake. I think a lot of times, like when I meet people or ask them questions, like I immediately jump to like, tell me your story. Because all the fluff just annoys me. I'm like, why are we talking about how your day went? Like, you went to the grocery store. That's great. High five. But I want to know, like, what are you struggling with? Like, tell me who you really are, and almost like your pain points. And I just like to go to that point with people immediately. And I think sometimes people receive that probably the wrong way. They're like, whoa, she just jumped from, hey, my name is Kayla, to, hey, tell my life story and I want to know your deepest, darkest secrets. And that could probably rub people the wrong way a lot of times. But I don't know how to not be that person.
Yeah, I'm not a small talk person either. And that's one of the unique things about, I mean, God has called us to live and in a gospel-centered community, and he's given all of us different types of personalities, and we have to figure it out. And we're not all the same. Yeah. And, we've joked before about how you and my wife kind of have similar personalities, and she's often misunderstood. And I know her, and I know where her heart's coming from, but I see the way other people kind of, because she's strong and just says what's on her mind. And sometimes I feel like I have to run around behind her and, hey,
clean up.
She really loves you.
Yeah. That's the thing is, and I know like Georgia and I are so much alike in that, because if we do say I see someone like just living in sin, like I'm not afraid to be like, why are you doing that? Like, what are you doing? And people just don't like maybe to be challenged or to be held accountable a lot of times. And like for me personally, like I want to be held accountable. I want my friends that love me well to call me out in my sin and be like, Kayla, what are you doing? And I just don't think that that's probably received well all the time. Like you said, like you kind of have to be like, hey, she loves you. I promise she loves you. But it is just like, hey, let's get to the point. Like, why are you struggling with this? Like, what has led to your decisions to make this decision?
Well, we're so used to, I use this phrase all the time, almost everywhere, we kind of show people who we wish we were. And we come into church life and God's calling us to something totally different. Yeah. And so we kind of need people around us sometimes that just say, let's stop with the, That's good. So what would one more thing you would want people to know about Kayla?
I think.
He always says I'm sensitive.
That's what I was going to say. I think she will put off that she's tough and hard.
I am.
And but she's probably the most sensitive person I've ever met. Like we'll cry at the drop of a hat. And I think that's gotten better, being sensitive about the right things. Mm-hmm. But seriously, like early on, and River has some of that in him. Our boy, like on the ball field, if I raise my voice at the team, like he's the one he like sinks. Yep. And it doesn't drive him. That drove me. You raise your voice at me, I'm gonna be driven to perform better. And he's getting there though. Yeah. But she is probably the most sensitive person. So I think what happens is some people don't realize, and I say this in every ministry we've been in, is that sometimes the things you say, you don't really understand the full gravity or the weight that the person feels that you say it about.
Because everybody's different.
Yeah, because everybody's different. Mm-hmm. And, there might be one person who can just brush those things off. Yeah. And, man, they're just whatever. Kayla is more one who absorbs that a little bit. It's going to hurt her, but she's learned through time to have tougher, thicker skin. Mm-hmm. And that can be good and bad. Like you can get calloused.
You get imbalanced. Yeah.
Yeah. And we don't want to be heartless and nothing bothers you, but you also don't want everything to bother you. And no matter how glorious ministry may seem, there's a lot of good in it. I mean, you get to see some incredible stories of life change and transformation in the work of God. But at the same time, man, there are a lot of scars.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think if you ask Kayla, she would tell you that there's some things that have been done in college ministry, in a church plant, and even here in 5 years, that there's scars to remember those pains.
Mm-hmm.
Man, we just said this a minute ago. I just heard this quote at a conference, actually. A guy, 2,500 people in the room. He said, I want you to look at me, and it's all ministry people. And he said, if you're going to invest your life in ministry, you're going to get hurt.
For sure.
That's all there is to it. So I want to, like our church family's listening right now. Yeah. We love you guys. And encourage our pastor and his wife, if you get a chance, walk up to them and verbalize encouragement to them. But how can the people in this church pray for you and Kayla? And I don't even mean about the church, just about you guys. Like, how can they pray for you? How can people pray for your family?
I think immediately I would just say that we don't take it for granted that our marriage is as strong as it is. I think just praying for purity of eyes, purity of heart, asking God to allow our love to grow each and every day, not to diminish or be devalued or not even take that for granted. Like, I know that it's only by God's grace I have a faithful wife, and it's only by the grace of God that she has a faithful husband. So just pray that God will protect us from that. I think we have 2 children have not received Jesus yet. One of them is asking questions, Reese, and then you got River. But just praying that the Lord will save them at an early age. Our prayer together has been that the vast majority of our children's lives will be spent following Jesus. And 2 of those have made decisions to follow Christ and are growing in their relationship with Jesus. 2 of those, one's asking questions, the other, I just feel like he came out of the womb saved.
Yeah, I know.
Now I'm starting to understand those people who say that. Just kidding. But he really is. He's just the godsend. But all of that, so I think that's how you pray specifically for our family. But we take our calling here seriously as well. We know that, God sovereignly, graciously put us here for this season of our life, for this season of the church's life. And we have a lifespan. Like, we're not here forever. Churches have lifespans. Go to England, and every church is dead.
Yep, they're all restaurants now.
That's right. And man, this is a beautiful season that we don't deserve. The church doesn't. The Brinsons don't. And we take it. We take it seriously, the calling that God has placed in our life to be here and to lead these people. So Solomon said, when he was asked that question, of anything in the world, what is it? And Solomon said, the wisdom and understanding to lead your people, God. And I would say the same thing. Like, just grant us the wisdom and understanding to lead the people that you have called us to in a way that will bring honor and glory to him. I don't know if there's anything you want to add to that.
Well, I was just thinking, like, to not grow weary. We've said that a lot throughout our lives through ministry. And doing good. And even in the seasons that are hard or the seasons that are fruitful, it's just like always remaining steady and constant and reminding ourselves that the Lord is faithful through it all. And we've talked about this recently, but just like, ministry is not going to play out how maybe we envision it would play out. But just always remembering and going back to, like, the Lord has got us. Like, at the end of the day, we answer to him. And just remembering that and keeping that on the forefront of our minds would be a great prayer for our family. And I think, too, just loving our kids well. And I think the church already does, but just going above and beyond that. Because this really could be a whole other podcast about just how children handle ministry. But because they do see the ins and outs of what we might walk through.
And they feel the pressures.
Yeah, they do. And it's unspoken, and it's like this silent expectation that they feel it, and you don't really mean for that to be there, but it's there. And so just constant prayer to protect them from not being one of the statistics that leave the church.
Yeah, that they know God and see God, and
Yeah, I think we
get to play a role in that here as
sure.
members of Eagle Inn. Absolutely.
And I guess in closing, I would say thank you to, there's men and women in our church who have held us up, who love us, who pray for us, and we know it. And they love our children really, really, really well. We've been spoiled at Eagles Landing to have some people that are in our corner who love us like that, and certainly don't take that for granted either. So I appreciate that question.
Yeah. Well, it's good to get to know your story a little bit more, Kayla. This needs to be, probably need to bring her on some more.
Yeah, see, I told y'all.
Let her spend some time, let people hear from her. But, man, thanks for telling your story today. And I guess we'll see you next time on the Everyone Everywhere podcast.
Take care.